Hello, my friends. Good evening. This is October the 15th, and I'm starting a live stream. And the time right now is 8:01 p.m. Central Time. And I'm broadcasting live from Madison, Wisconsin. And it's a pleasure to see my friends entering the live chat. Always great to see my friends' names pop up in the live chat window. Friends who have supported this channel for a long time. And then I always have this hope that we will have more friends tuning in, new friends who will become a part of this community. So if you are here for the first time, please make sure that you are subscribing. Please subscribe and stay connected. Okay? My friends, the government is still shut down. The government shutdown is ongoing. It has been shut down for several days now. In fact, if you go to the website of the White House, go to the White House website, and on the front page, there is a shutdown clock. It says, Democrats have shut down the government 14 days, 21 hours, 2 minutes, and 44 seconds, 45 seconds, 46 seconds, 47 seconds, and 48, 49, 50. And the clock is ticking, and the government is still shut down because of the radical left Democrats. My friends, share with me your thoughts on this. I see our friends are already here. Rachel is here from Waukesha. Terry is here. Terry, always good to see you. Always good to see Rachel. Ken is here from Appleton. Ken, wonderful. Thanks for being here. Richard Miller is here as well. And there are others who are going to be joining us. And my friends, we all are concerned about this government shutdown. This is not good for our country, and I'm going to be talking more about that very soon. Don't go anywhere. Stay connected. The government is shut down because of the radical left Democrats. The Democrats repeatedly have voted to keep the government shut down. Can you imagine? Can you imagine what kind of a mindset the Democrats have that they enjoy keeping the government shut down? Just try to go inside the minds of the Democrats who vote repeatedly to keep the government shut down. How in the world can anyone do that? The government shut down for several days, as I said, 14 days, 21 hours, 4 minutes, and 35 seconds. The government is shut down because of the radical left Democrats. Thanks to President Donald J. Trump, the military troops will be paid. They'll get their paychecks because the Trump administration found funds that they can use to cover those paychecks. So the troops will not miss their paychecks this time. But keep in mind that this is a temporary solution. It's not a long-term fix. To have long-term stability, we need to get the government up and running again. We need to close the doors on this shutdown. We need to open the government up. For now, there are funds to cover this one paycheck. But what about the next paycheck for the troops? Had it not been for the Trump administration, the troops would have missed this paycheck. But the troops are getting paid because the Trump administration found funds to cover this paycheck. Like I said, it is a temporary solution. It's not a long-term fix. But there are other federal workers. There are other federal workers, many federal workers living in uncertainty right now. And you have to think about the airports. Can we think about the airports? The airports are important, my friends. Because transportation is a necessity. Our economy depends on air traffic, air travel, airlines. If air travel slows down, if air travel is disrupted, we are going to be facing big losses as a country. My friends, we greatly depend on the TSA workers and the air traffic controllers. Now, TSA is Transportation Security Administration, TSA, right? So TSA workers are very, very important to ensure safe and secure air travel. The TSA workers, the Transportation Security Administration workers, play a crucial role, and air traffic controllers are important. The air traffic controllers, they play a crucial role. And so I was actually, when I was thinking about all these things earlier this evening, I said, I'm going to do a little search. I'll try to find out how many air traffic controllers are out there in the United States, in the whole country. So, according to the Federal Aviation Administration, there are more than 14,000 air traffic control specialists, known as ATC, Air Traffic Control Specialist, ATC, working across the United States. And they help ensure the safety and flight efficiency of aircrafts and pilots. And do you have any idea how many passengers travel by air daily? Any idea? 2.9 million passengers daily. They take care of 2.9 million passengers daily, the air traffic controllers in the US. That's a lot of travelers, 2.9 million passengers daily. Now, according to the Federal Aviation Administration, and I'm going to read to you a paragraph from the FAA, all right? FAA, Federal Aviation Administration. And I quote, FAA controllers work from more than 400 locations, including airport towers and radar facilities, monitoring and managing about 50,000 flights a day during peak travel times. You can help manage, this is like talking about the air traffic controllers. They help manage the flow of aircraft on runways, guide pilots during takeoff and landing, and monitor aircraft as they travel from the ground through the skies and land back safely on the ground. So they have, I actually didn't give you the exact quote because I interrupted myself in the middle. But key things to remember, they work from more than 400 locations. They monitor and manage about 50,000 flights daily during peak travel times. And they help manage the flow of traffic on runways, guide pilots during takeoff and landing, and monitor aircraft as they travel from the ground through the skies and land back safely on the ground. That is important work. These are the individuals we rely on for safety during air travel. And to understand how the FAA selects air traffic control specialists, you want to look at some requirements. So anyone who wants to apply to become an air traffic controller, do you know what the requirements are? I'm going to give you some examples. Number one, be a U.S. citizen. That is important. It may not be important to the Democrats, but that is important to the American people who love freedom, who believe in the rule of law, who believe in hiring the best and the brightest for these important positions. They have to be US citizen. Speak English fluently and clearly. That is a requirement. Believe it or not, that is a requirement for air traffic controllers, as it should be. Although the Democrats will say otherwise, probably, because when Trump declared English as the official language of the United States, the Democrats were so unhappy. Whatever Trump decides to do, the Democrats go against that. Trump says English is our official language, and the Democrats say, no, no, no. Because the Democrats, they don't understand logic or reason. They don't live in reality. So, I mean, we the American people, we the people who love this country, we love the United States. We want the United States to remain as the strongest country in the world. We love it when President Trump says English is going to be the official language, and the Democrats complain about it. I don't understand why. I don't understand why. So anyway, going back to the air traffic controllers, to apply for that position, a person has to be a US citizen, speak English fluently and clearly, be younger than 31 years old before the closing date of the application period, have either 1 year of full-time work experience or 1 year of higher education or a combination of both, and most importantly, be physically and mentally fit and meet standards for vision, hearing, cardiovascular, neurological, and psychiatric health. So, very, very important requirements. I hope you understand that. So, we must take care of our air traffic controllers, my friends. Do you agree? We support our air traffic controllers. We want our air traffic controllers to be able to do their jobs properly and get paid. It is extremely important. We must ensure that our air traffic controllers are happy in their jobs because we need them. And we need to ensure smooth air travel for the millions of travelers every day. My friends, now there's big uncertainty because a long government shutdown is going to mean that the air traffic controllers will not get their full paychecks on time, but they are still required to work. And it's just unbelievable what the Democrats are making the American people go through. It is unacceptable. And the Democrats are doing this on purpose. They planned this. The Democrats, they planned this shutdown, which is why we have the shutdown. That's why it's called the Schumer Shutdown. Chuck Schumer is responsible, along with his left-wing buddies. They're responsible for this long shutdown. And I'm looking at the shutdown clock on the White House website. It's 14 days, 21 hours, 15 minutes, and 18 seconds, 19 seconds, 20 seconds, 21 seconds, 22 seconds. The clock is ticking, and each moment, each day, the shutdown gets longer and longer and longer. The longer the shutdown, the greater the uncertainty, the greater the stress that so many Americans are going through. We need to end the shutdown, but the Democrats are preventing that. They want to maintain the shutdown because they planned it. It's the Schumer shutdown, and it's hurting our country. My friends, I see Corina is here. Corina, good to see you. Other friends are tuning in. My friends, if you are new to this channel, please subscribe. If you believe in making America great again, please subscribe. If you believe in freedom, please subscribe. If you believe in the rule of law, please subscribe. Stay connected, because this is a community of freedom-loving people. We love the Constitution. We love our freedom. We love the rule of law. Thank you, my friends. But as you can see, every time we have a conversation about protecting our freedom, about making America great again, about ensuring that America becomes an even more prosperous country, every time we have these discussions, every time I'm doing a live stream and we're having a great conversation about how we can MAGA, how we can make America great again, you can see the trolls and the haters, they come in. The left-wing activists, they come in. They don't believe in MAGA. They don't believe in MAGA. They come in, they try to disrupt our conversation, but you know what? Nothing's going to stop me. Trolls and haters will not stop me. I will do what I'm here to do. I will keep speaking the truth. I will continue to fight for freedom. I will continue to say things that are true and accurate, and I will continue to voice my opinions. I believe in the freedom of speech, and I have a constitutional right to say what's on my mind, and that is exactly what I'm doing, and you should do the same. So please be a part of this community, and we're going to fight for freedom, my friends. And you can see a lot of folks here with Trump derangement syndrome. Folks here with Trump derangement syndrome, whatever Trump says, they just oppose that. Whatever Trump says, they just oppose that. Unbelievable. Tom says MAGA. Thank you, Tom. MAGA. Corina says MAGA. Corina from Massachusetts says MAGA. Thank you, Corina. My friends, like this video. Like this video. Share this video. There's big uncertainty because of the government shutdown. Think about the human mind. Think about what the federal workers are going through. Think about what the air traffic controllers are going through. Think about their emotions. Think about the kind of stress that they are feeling right now because of this long government shutdown. Think about the situation that the air traffic controllers and the TSA workers are in right now. And the Democrats can address this by simply coming to their senses and opening up the government. But you know what? The Democrats are gonna, they're going to drag this shutdown out further, it seems, because every time there's a vote, the Democrats vote against opening the government. They vote in support of government shutdown. Unbelievable, right? I know. Instead of opening up the government, the Democrats, you know what they're busy with? Okay, now you need to pay attention. If you have not been paying attention, I hope you've been paying attention since you tuned in. But let's say you were not paying attention up until now. I would encourage you to now pay attention, because there's something very important that I'm going to tell you, because I know what exactly the Democrats are busy with. Do you know what they're busy with? Do you know what they're focusing on? Instead of opening up the government, they're busy with organizing No King's Day. Have you heard of that? No King's Day? No King's Day demonstration, No King's Day protest. Absolute nonsense. I know. You're probably saying, Tausif, you know what? You know what, Tausif? We heard about No King's Day. It is complete nonsense, utter nonsense. Yes, I agree with you, my friends. This No King's Day, absolute garbage. But that's what the Democrats, the radical left, is focused on. No King's Day. Reportedly, there's going to be massive turnout for this so-called No King's Day. We don't know if there's going to be a massive turnout, but that's what I see in the news. The radical left is probably hoping for a massive turnout. That's what some are saying. Oh, there's going to be a lot of people. There's going to be massive turnout. Maybe. Who knows? There are these organizers who organize these events. No King's Day. AC Cruz, good to see you. Our friend AC is here. Now, what is No King's Day? For those who don't know, you may be asking, all right, Tassif, we've already heard you mention No King's Day a dozen times, but what is it? Describe it. Well, my friends, I gotta tell you, there are many ways to describe this so-called No King's Day protest, all right? In simple terms, this No King's Day is basically an anti-Trump effort. Those who suffer from Trump derangement syndrome, they participate in what's called No King's Day. All right? The folks who participate in these No King's Day events are individuals who do not like Trump, no matter what Trump does. On one hand, Trump is making America great again. On the other hand, these folks are saying, oh, No King's Day, No King's Day. No matter what President Trump does, these anti-Trump folks, they're out there screaming and chanting and shouting and participating in No King's Day. All right? I mean, listen. I'm going to give you some examples, some simple examples to help you understand what's going on here. And all I request is that you pay attention. And by the way, like this video, subscribe, share this video. It's important, my friends. So, President Trump is fighting inflation, and he's doing it quite successfully. And he's doing it pretty rapidly, too. He's doing it quite fast. Now, after the massive damage done by the Biden administration, I honestly thought that it's going to take a long time to repair the damage. But now I see that President Trump is actually ahead of schedule. He's doing it. He's repairing the economy faster than I expected. And I've been in politics for many years. I've studied economics. I was a student of political science. And once you are a student of political science, you're a lifelong student of political science. Because, maybe you've received your degree, but you never stop learning. So I'm a lifelong student of political science. I'm an informed individual. I try to be. I try to keep track of what's happening in the economy, what's happening in the country and around the world. Everything's interconnected. So I consider myself somebody who tries to stay up to date on important things pertaining to government and society and economy. And I had certain expectations when President Trump came to power. I knew, and I still know, that he's going to repair the damage caused by the Biden administration. But I was thinking it's going to take a while. But seeing the tremendous progress he made and how fast he made the progress, I am amazed. I am so happy. And now I feel more confident that going forward, things are going to get even faster. Good things. Good things are going to be happening even more rapidly. So I'll tell you that President Trump has been fighting inflation quite successfully. He's lowering gas prices, which I thought would take much longer. I knew he would do it, but I thought it would take a much longer period of time. but he has already made tremendous progress. Gas prices are coming down. What a relief. President Trump and his administration are making American communities safe. His administration is fighting crimes. President Trump is ending wars and conflicts and bringing peace to many places around the world, including the Middle East. President Trump is successfully renegotiating trade deals and ensuring that America is treated fairly in international trade. President Trump is delivering tax cuts to the American people. He's strengthening our military. His administration is working hard to build the Golden Dome missile defense system to make sure that our homeland is safe. President Trump is doing all this and a lot more. I mean, if I want to mention the complete list of his accomplishments, we're going to be here for many hours. So I'm keeping things short, but if you have a question about any particular topic, you can ask me. You can say, Tausif, you just mentioned a whole bunch of items, but I want to talk a little bit more about strengthening the military. Well, then I'll go into greater details. So, my friends, President Trump is doing all this and a lot more. And then, instead of saying, thank you, President Trump, thank you, Trump administration, please keep up the great work. You're truly the best president. You're making America great again. Instead of saying that, there are all this whole bunch of people. They're planning to go out this weekend and scream and chant and do No King's Day demonstration. Instead of saying thank you, instead of expressing their gratitude, instead of saying, President Trump, thank you for deporting the criminal aliens, now we feel more safe in our neighborhoods. Thank you so very much, Kristi Noem. Thank you so very much, Tom Homan. Thank you so very much, President Trump. Instead of saying that, these people, they plan to go out there and to scream and chant and shout, and they plan to have this No King's Day. What a waste of time. What a real waste of time. What a real waste of time. No King's Day. Reportedly, there will be No King's Day anti-Trump demonstrations on October 18th. Can you believe that? How can someone, and I truly don't understand this, it is really just mind-boggling. How can someone go out there and have this No King's Day? How can someone go out there and scream and chant against the president when the president is making America great again? It's not just a slogan, make America great again. It's not just a slogan. It is much more than that. Yeah, it's easy to say MAGA and make America great again. I have it right on my hat. It says make America great again. But it's not just a slogan. You can experience this in everyday life. When you go to the grocery store and you see that the prices have fallen, you know that MAGA is working. America First is working. When you go to the gas station and you see that gas prices have fallen, you know that MAGA is working. When you see that criminal aliens are being arrested and they are being taken off the streets, you know MAGA is working. That's real impact. That's impact that you can see around you every day. So, with all these great things happening in the country, how can these people go out there and have this so-called No King's Day? What does that even mean, No King's Day? And that's my friends. I have a lot more to say, but let me just say this. Tommy Brown is here. Tommy Brown, good to see you. Our friend Tommy Brown just tuned in. Thank you, Tommy Brown. Tish is saying Trump MAGA. Thank you so very much. Thank you, Tish. Appreciate that. So I will say one thing more about this entire idea of No King's Day. All right. Let me just take a little break here. By the way, it's so great. I mean, refreshing tea, truly amazing. You know, hot tea. If you like, I don't know. Please write what's your favorite beverage. Write what is your favorite beverage. I'm having hot tea. Royal English breakfast hot tea, truly amazing. Let me know what your favorite beverage is. I'm curious to know. And also, please subscribe if you have not done so already. It is important that you subscribe and stay connected to this channel, my friends. All right. So, okay. I will say one more thing about this entire idea of No King's Day. If you think about it with a lot of attention, think carefully, you'll realize that it's a complete waste of time. Going out and protesting on No King's Day, it is a complete waste of time. Now, time is valuable. You understand that, right? You cannot create time. Time is valuable. We have limited time. We have limited number of minutes in an hour. We have limited number of hours in a day. We have limited number of days in a week. We have limited number of weeks in a year. You cannot create time. No matter how technologically advanced you are, no matter how brilliant you are, no matter what great a scientist you may be, you cannot create time. You can't say, oh, you know what? The rest of you, you get 24 hours in a day. I get 30 hours because I just created a few extra hours a day. You can't say that. I mean, you may want to if you want to, but it's not going to be the truth. So we have limited number of hours in a day. Time is valuable. Time is precious. And so let's say that you get 1 hour of free time in a day. Like you get an hour where it's like whatever you want to do. If you ask me, I'd say you could be reading some pages from a book, or you could be reading a beautiful essay on something, maybe a philosophical essay. If you like reading ancient Greek philosophy, you could be reading a philosophy article or an essay in an hour. You could be writing an essay. You could probably, like, if you have an hour, like if someone tells me, Tassif, you have an hour, do whatever you like. I'll probably say, you know what? Let me grab some paper and pen, and I'm going to write an essay. I'm going to write, you know, maybe I'll talk about contemporary political issues, which I frequently do. Maybe I'll write about social issues. Maybe I'll write about a beautiful memory. Maybe you'll write about your child. I mean, you can do whatever you want. You get an hour, you can do whatever you want. You can read, you can write. If you like gardening, you can go out into your garden. You can plant some trees, whatever. You could be cooking a nice dish if you like cooking, which I love. I cook a lot. So you could be cooking a nice dish. You could go out for a drive out in the country. You know, I live in the city of Madison, Wisconsin, but you just go a few minutes out of the city, you're out in the country. You can see the farms, you can see the cows, you can see the beautiful scenery of the countryside. So if I get an hour, I could go for a nice drive enjoy some beautiful view, and come back. Or you could meet up with a friend for coffee. Spend a nice hour talking to a friend. You could be watching a nice documentary if you have an extra hour in a day. Or, if your house needs repairs, maybe you could do some repairs around the house if you have an hour of free time. Or you could just be taking a nap, which is also very helpful. You could do that. If someone says, hey, you got an extra hour, do what you like. You could say, you know what? I had a very busy week. I'm exhausted. I'll take a nap. I'll just lie down, close my eyes, and relax for an hour. And that'll help energize me for the rest of the day. You could do that. Now, if you like working out, you could spend an hour in the gym. You could spend an hour on the treadmill. Or you could just sit out on the patio and watch the sky. Look at the sky. Breathe the fresh air. Do nothing. Just look out at the sky. Watch the clouds. Or you could be spending an hour with your children. Spending an hour with your family. You could be organizing your room, which, I need to do. Because I got so many books and papers lying around. I actually definitely need an hour to organize my room. Things are kind of scattered right now. But anyway, you get an hour. You could use it in a good way. You could go to a local service organization, a local charitable organization. You could volunteer for an hour. You get an hour, you can do something productive with that 1 hour time. But if you decide that you are going to spend an hour screaming and chanting at a No King's Day protest, that is a complete waste of time. That is my whole point. The reason I'm talking continuously for so long, more than half hour now, is because I want to help you understand that if you take an hour out of your day and you spend that hour at a No King's Day protest, protesting against MAGA, protesting against Trump, then that hour is a complete waste of your time. And why would you do that? Why would you scream and chant against a president who is spending every hour of his day to make our lives better? Tell me, why would you spend an hour screaming and chanting against the president whose focus is to make America great again? If you spend an hour at a No King's Day protest, it's a waste of time. And I guess that a lot of people who are planning to go to these No King's Day protests, they are probably going to be spending more than an hour over there. I don't think they'll go there and just spend an hour. It's probably going to be few hours or several hours, which is just an even bigger waste of time. Every minute at a No King's Day protest is a minute wasted, a minute that is lost, that you can never get back. Because time is, once it slips through your fingers, time's gone. You cannot get it back. My friends, these events, these No King's Day protests, reportedly are being organized in different parts of the country. And so my message is simple. Use your time for something productive, something useful. Use your time to improve the lives of the people of this country. Use your time to contribute to the great growth and success of the United States. Don't spend your time screaming and chanting at a No King's Day protest. And while so many Americans are suffering because of the government shutdown, the Democrats are busy focusing on No King's Day protests. It is so sad. It is so sad. And what does it tell you about the radical left? What does it tell you about the radical left? Tell me. My friends, I also have a poll question here. The question that you may want to answer. The question is, what is the daily economic loss as a result of the radical left Democrat government shutdown? Okay. The options are less than $1 billion per day, between $1 and $10 billion per day, or more than $10 billion per day. Those are the choices. So please answer, what is the daily economic loss as a result of the radical left Democrat government shutdown? Okay? I have more things to talk about. Don't go anywhere. I'm just taking a little break here. All right. Definitely a Democrat shutdown. Someone just said that. Yeah. It's definitely a Democrat shutdown. We know that. We know that. Radical left Democrat shutdown. You know, Chuck Schumer is trying to become radical left because you know what? Chuck Schumer is afraid that if he votes to open up the government, then AOC is going to primary him next, whenever the election is. Is it next year? I think it's next year. Let's see. Chuck Schumer re-election. When is it? Oh, that's in 2028. All right. But yeah, Chuck Schumer is actually afraid that if he votes to open the government, then AOC or some other radical left person may primary him for his next election. And that's why he's listening to the radical left voices and he's keeping the government shut down. But you know what may end up happening? The radical left may primary Chuck Schumer anyway. If Chuck Schumer thinks that he's going to make the radical left happy by doing radical left things, it may not make the radical left happy. The AOC may primary Chuck Schumer anyway. So let's see. All right, I'm reading some comments here. Let's see. By the way, my friends, please like and share and subscribe. I would appreciate that. Subscribe to this channel to stay connected. Thank you so very much. Please subscribe if you have not done so already. Let's see. Okay, so my friends, this is the true priority of the leftists. They want to promote chaos and unrest rather than doing constructive things, which is why the left-wing folks are focusing on No King's Day protest. At the same time, they're keeping the government shut down. They're not opening the government. That's the radical left. That's their true priority. To destabilize our economy, to shut down our government, to make people's lives more difficult, and to promote chaos and unrest. That is what the left does. That is the left's priority. And you can see that in the live chat too, my friends. You can see that in the live chat. Here we are trying to have a constructive conversation. Here we are trying to share the facts, speak the truth, and let people have important information. That is what we're trying to do through this channel. And you can see, rather than engaging in constructive dialogue, the radical left is here being trolls, trying to disrupt the conversation, trying to jam the live chat window with nonsense comments. And they're trying to just make this environment difficult for a constructive conversation. So you can see this is what the radical left does. This is what they do in Chicago. This is what they do in New York. This is what the radical left does in DC. And this is what the radical left does in the live chat on this channel. Okay? Someone's saying, thank you, President Trump. Absolutely. My friends, we can all say that. Thank you, President Trump. Can we just, okay, let's do this. Collective action, we're going to say, thank you, President Trump. I'm going to do it in all caps. Thank you, President Trump. And then I'm going to write, thank you to the greatest president, Donald J. Trump. We're going to say thank you to our president, Donald Trump. Would you please repeat that? Let's just flood the live chat. Let's just flood the live chat. Tommy Brown is saying Trump stopped 8 wars. Exactly, Tommy. Thank you for sharing that, Tommy. Thank you for highlighting that key fact. President Donald J. Trump stopped 8 wars. Richard is saying, God bless President Donald J. Trump. Tommy is saying, thank you, President Trump. Someone's saying, thank you, Trump. Victoria is saying, thank you to our President Donald Trump. Thank you, my friends. Kristen's here. Kristen's saying, God bless my president. That's our friend from New York. Paul is saying, Trump, best president ever. I love that. I love that, Paul. Thank you. Thank you. Overwhelming support for our president, always. Tommy is saying again, best president ever. Thank you, Tommy. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you, my friends. Don't let the trolls stop you from speaking the truth. And that is what I follow. No matter how many negative comments I see in the live chat window, that'll not stop me from focusing on the truth. Because, my friends, the truth is the foundation of this channel, which is why we are growing rapidly and our community is becoming bigger and bigger and bigger and more vocal. We're not afraid to tell the truth. That's what we will do. Always, we will focus on the truth. My friends, thank you so very much for all your support. Thank you. Thank you so very much. So, in Wisconsin also, reportedly, there will be no King's Day protests, okay? And it is so sad to see people deciding to waste their time. Anyone going to a No King's Day protest to participate, that's a waste of time, as I said. And the biggest issue, here's the biggest issue, something that I'm going to highlight now, so I want you all to pay attention. Okay? This is an important part of the live stream. So let me know if you're ready. Let me know if you are ready, because I would like you to pay full attention to what I'm about to tell you now, because this is important. This is important, my friends. Paul says, let's go. Let's go. All right. The biggest issue is that the left-wing people are trying to paint a completely false image of the United States of America. By having these nonsense events, these No King's Day events, the left is trying to paint an image, a false image, and the left is trying to claim that America has a king, which America does not. Everyone knows that America does not have a king. There is no king. But the left is organizing these No King's Day events and trying to paint an image that, oh, they're protesting against a king. But my friends, the United States is not a kingdom. It is not an empire. The United States doesn't have a monarchy. There is no king. There is no emperor. The United States is a constitutional republic. The United States is a constitutional republic. There is no king in America. There is no king. But you know what we have? We have a president who has been elected by overwhelming majority. Oh, it was a landslide election. Landslide. We have our 45th president, who is also our 47th president, and we elected him with massive number of votes, which is why he got the electoral college votes, he got the popular votes. It was a landslide, overwhelming victory. So Donald J. Trump, he's our president. The Democrats were completely shocked. Tangerine's here. Tangerine, good to see you, Tangerine. Thanks for being here. Our friend Tangerine just joined. It's wonderful to see our friends' names pop up. And we got new friends here too. We got new friends. I want to get to know our new friends. I want to get to know our new friends. All right. Tangerine writes TTTT, which means Tossif tells the truth. Thank you, Tangerine. It is always my goal to tell the truth. Always. Thank you. All right. All right, my friends. Let me just say that the Democrats were shocked when the results of the 2024 election came out. Donald Trump won the Electoral College vote and the popular vote. And do you remember when the Democrats had celebrities campaigning for Kamala Harris? Do you remember that? You probably remember that, right? The Democrats, they had celebrities campaigning for Kamala Harris. They thought having celebrities campaigning for Kamala is going to help Kamala win. But you know what? The American people are hardworking people. They don't care about what these Hollywood left-wing celebrities do. The hardworking American people, they voted for someone who wants to MAGA, who wants to make America great again, Donald J. Trump. And Kamala, she thought she was going to get votes by having these left-wing Hollywood celebrities out on the campaign trail, huh? What was the result? Kamala lost. She lost, and it was such a massive loss. It was not a slim loss. It was not like, oh, I lost by just a little bit. No, it was a massive loss that Kamala had. Lost big. Is it Dolph? As Dolph is saying, is it Dolph? It was a massive, big loss. All right. So, my friends, when will the Democrats open the government? Do you know? Do you know? When will the shutdown end? How long is the shutdown going to be? Do you know what kind of money we're losing every day the government is shut down? Any idea? Anyone? Do you know? That is the poll question that I've asked. What is the daily economic loss as a result of the radical left Democrat government shutdown? The choices are less than $1 billion, between $1 and $10 billion, more than $10 billion. Do you know? I'm going to give you the answer now. Okay, I'm going to end the poll, and I'll give you the answer. So, 31% of the voters, of the people who voted in the poll, said less than $1 billion per day of economic loss. 32% said between $1 billion and $10 billion. And 37% said more than $10 billion. The answer is more than $10 billion every day. So 37% of the people made the right guess. More than $10 billion every day. We're losing. Every day that there's the shutdown. Every day. That is every single day. We're losing more than $10 billion. In fact, the number, as it was reported by Secretary of the Treasury, Scott Bessent, it is actually close to $15 billion a day in lost output. I just had the less than 1 billion, between 1 and 10 billion, and more than 10 billion. I had those brackets just for simplicity. But the real number is close to $15 billion a day in lost output. That is what is costing, that is the cost that we're facing as an economy because of the radical left Democrat Party shutdown. Democrat government shutdown. The Democrat Party has shut down the government. The Democrats, Chuck Schumer. So there's a real monetary impact, and it's a severely adverse impact. Up to $15 billion a day in lost output. When Donald Trump is doing everything to make America great again, when the Republicans in Washington are working hard to make America great again, the Democrats have shut down the government. And we're facing tremendous losses as a result. This is what we are facing. My friends, Let me ask you this. I got to ask you a question. I'm going to end this live stream now, but would you like me to do another live stream in a few hours? Would you like me to do another live stream in a few hours? Let me know. Belroth is saying yes. Kristen, I'm guessing you're saying yes. Tommy Brown is saying yes. Victoria is saying yes. You know, I'm probably gonna go have dinner, and I might do another live stream. Bill, Welder Bill, good to see you. Good to see you. From Vegas is here. Okay, I'm gonna do another live stream in a few hours. Okay, it'll be later at night, hopefully. So thank you all very much for being here. I appreciate your participation, and thank you, my friends. I'm gonna be back again very soon in a few hours. Welder Bill is saying I haven't seen you for a while. Yeah, I've started doing live streams again, Bill. So I'm glad to be back. I'm glad. Patrick is saying do another live stream. Yeah. So make sure that you subscribe, because it is important, because that's how you get notifications when I start a live stream. So yeah. So I'm gonna do another live stream very soon. Okay, in a few hours. So my friends, thank you so very much for tuning in. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I'm gonna be back again very soon. God bless you all, and together we will make America great again. Thank you, my friends. Thank you so very much. Thank you.